All right, I'm doing the black and white colorization assignment for you, well, to demonstrate. So I have a picture over here I'm going to use. I'm going to open it directly into Photoshop. So open with Photoshop. The duplicate directions may be a little bit abstract, and for that I apologize. So this demonstration will clarify why I want you to duplicate a layer and then get rid of the original. All right, here's the picture. Here's where I want, so this is locked. It may not let you do everything you want to do. So I am going to drag this down to the plus down here to duplicate it. Then I'm going to throw away the locked layer. So this is the layer you're working on. Okay, I'm also going to make this smaller. Going to image, image size. The biggest direction is going to be 6, and the resolution is going to be 150. And you can do Command plus to zoom in to work on this. Okay, there are two ways you can make a picture black and white. One will make it the color palette or the color format black and white, which means you can't put color into it. That is the grayscale, and you don't want to do that. The other, so you can see this is RGB, that's a color picture. If you go to image adjustments, hue and saturation, slide saturation all the way to the left to get rid of the color. And then if you go back here and look at the mode, it's still a color mode, so you can add color back in. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding color back in. I can use the paintbrush, which is right here, the brush tool. I can also use the paint can if I want to do a large area. And I am going to do this at 20% or close to it so it doesn't come in really fast. This is especially important if you're colorizing a face. So I'm going to pick the color I want to colorize with. I'm going to pick blue, it's one of my favorite colors. And I am going to use the right bracket to make the tool bigger to do this. And I'm going to, I might not be able to see this very well, so I'm going to crank this, crank this up to 46%. Oh, it's because I know the color picked. There we go. Now it'll work. So you can see this is starting to turn blue. Okay, and I can do this as much as I want. I can also do a quick select if I want to refine this and keep it in control. So if I do this and this, that means that only those two areas are going to be colorized. And if I do this to remove some of the colorization, then it's only going to do the rings around the outside. So now I've got the rings around the outside selected. It's a little not neat, but I want you to see what you can do. Okay, so I've got these selected. Now I'm going to pick a different color. Let's go with green. And we will go to the paintbrush. Oh, we're going to change the opacity down to about 20%. I can also come in here and just put 20%. And then I'm going to come in here. If I do this, you can see that it only impacts the part that I selected. I can colorize over here and nothing happens. So I can keep doing this until I get the color I want. You still want to see the definition of the object that it is, so you don't want to colorize it 100% opacity and black it out. Okay, so that's colorized. You don't want to colorize the whole thing. You want to do half or less. The other part I'll do is this lighter background. So I'm going to do a quick select on that. Go to the plus, select down here, down here. I'm going to unselect the areas I don't want. I don't want this knob in here. I don't want this shadow to be colorized. I don't care if it's a little bit off, and I don't want this nub to be colorized. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can refine that a little bit. Go back in, pick this a little bit, pick this a little bit, make my tool smaller by left bracket. So that looks pretty good. Clean this up a little bit. Go back to the minus. All right, I'm going to zoom back out. I still have this little corner down here. Let me see if I can clean that up. Left bracket to make this smaller. There. Okay, now if I zoom back out, I am going to colorize this. The cool thing about this, you can do it two ways. I can use the paint bucket. I'm going to crank the opacity down to 20%. Just change it to 20 here. And I'm going to pick, let's do an orange background. Okay, so then I just come over here, and if I go like that, oh, it's still green. My bad. Let's switch these around. Okay, so if I go like that, turns a little orange. I can add more, a little more orange, a little more orange, a little more orange. I think I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to call that done. Doesn't have to be a whole lot of colorizing. It does need to be a little bit. It's important that you only have one layer over here. And then I will just go File, Save As, and save on my computer. I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Actually, let's do this. Layer, flatten image, just to be on the safe side. Okay, now let's save it. File, Save As, on the computer. Now it's a JPEG. I'm going to call it BW for black and white, and save it. And then that is ready to turn in. So here I've got both of them. Here's the original, and then here's the one that I desaturated and colorized that I will turn in.